Hey everyone, Steve with Entering into Space, and today I want to do another video of the colorized version. So colorized HOO. Yeah, so I did the colorized SHO, had a great response from it. Obviously have some people who are still struggling with it, so hopefully this video will help you out because I'll go into greater detail about some of the masks that really make this process work. But today we're going to take hydrogen, oxygen, do the same colorized version, but this time we're going to do RGB stars. We're going to integrate RGB stars into the Dolphin Head Nebula. Yeah, it's a pretty cool target. Let's minimize me. Let's expand Pixel Sight, and let's get to work on this thing. Okay, so what we have here is our oxygen data. All these images here have been aligned and registered to each other, so all the stars match up. And so we got some great oxygen data here. We've got some pretty good hydrogen data. And then we've got red, green, and blue stars. So first step is we want to deal with the stars. We'll get the hard work out of the way first, and then we'll do the fun stuff with coloring, okay? So the first thing I want to do is we want to do a RGB combination to get proper color stars. And then I'm going to show you something that I've really been enjoying here recently in the star extraction process. So let's open up a red image here. As you can see, we have a pretty healthy gradient we need to get rid of. And one of the things I've been doing recently with DBE is I've been doing more sample points than I generally do. I find when I have an image here, let's say there's a galaxy in the middle and we've got a lot of dark space and we've got a lot of stars, I tend to find smaller samples, but more of them work pretty well in contrast with like a very nebulous region. I might use ABE, automatic background extractor, or I might make big old boxes. But anyway, let's set the DBE up for this star region, because really all we care about in these three images is our stars. And yes, I like to do DBE on each individual channel separately if you're shooting one shot color. Obviously you wouldn't think so. Wouldn't think you'd want to separate those. But anyway, so we're going to be more tolerant. We're going to come here to our tolerance, and let's bump that up to 2.5. We're going to do sample generation, drop that down. Probably increase the box size to maybe, not 1, not 0. Good Lord, 10. And all the rest of this, we're going to stay the same. And the samples per row, we're going to set that pretty heavy at 10. Let's say generate. And as you can see, we've got some pretty small boxes here. So let's bump those up to maybe 15. And click resize. And you want to find a box that kind of fits into space here. We don't want to add any boxes. I want to find a box that fits into space here that doesn't overwhelm your stars, that you can move around within the star field. So I like that size box. And so now the boring stuff is to kind of go through each one of these and move them. You can go through and pan around and look for them. Or you can click upper left-hand corner. Boop. And that starts at sample 1. So you have 96, 1 of 96, and we can just go through them. And they're going to show you what's in the preview box. So you can just kind of almost like blinking through them. You can see we've got one here that's actually got stars. So we just kind of scoot it. Whoa. We've got a big old star in the middle of it. So that's a faster way to me. If you've got a bunch of sample points, to kind of screen through them. Not real worried about that. It doesn't bother me too much. Yeah, see, we got this little, and the one that's green is the one you're on. And so you might have to zoom in. But let me go through here real quick and move these sample points around. All right, one cool thing about doing this, besides it being super tedious, and being tedious is very cool, it's cutting edge, is when you're really zooming around here with your stars, you see little things like these little galaxies right here that you probably wouldn't ever noticed. And I think we spend so much time, stewing over some of these images that we don't really dig in here deep and see, and appreciate we were looking at deep space, man. I mean, who knows what that galaxy is? I could probably find out, but it's definitely a galaxy, and I've captured it. It's probably 14 bajillion light years away. Who knows? Anyway, okay, so I've gone through and I've moved all the sample points. I think they're good enough for the video purposes. So let's come in here to target correction. We're going to choose division. We're going to discard the background, and we're going to hit the check mark. And let's do a real-time preview. Didn't do too bad of a job. I like it. Let's minimize it. Let's push it up here. Now, we did all that work. We don't want to do it again, so let's drag that instance off. Put it right here. And save all those sample points. Close down the tool. Close down that yucky image. Let's rename this red. I like to keep these names short. Let's open up the green. Now the easy part. We just double click on this instance that we drug off. Sample points are there. Cool. See this little black area right here? Where it's kind of darker? That might signify, let's look at it. That might signify that we have a star pretty close to a sample point, which might be that one there. Didn't show up in the red too much. Let's run it again. Not too worried about it. Just because I'm pulling out the stars. Yeah, that made it better. Let's minimize it. Let's rename it green. Oh, get out of here. I like how it says, no thanks, I'll miss out. Close it, and let's do our blue. Double click. Run it. Now, if you remember, I didn't move that sample point. So I'm going to show you something if you didn't know. I can come back in here. Because that dark area kind of popped back out. Let's move that sample point. Now let's take that instance right here. We're going to drag it over top and drag it right on top of that one. And it's going to say, do you want to replace it? And you're going to say, hell yeah. And that basically has now always saved that move. Okay. And then let's run it again. Cool. It's not too bad. Let's minimize it. Yep. And then let's rename it to blue. Click OK. Let's drag it up here. Let's close down that tool. Yes. And we're going to close the image. Let's do the same thing for our O3, except for we're going to reopen dynamic background extraction. We're going to come down here. We're going to say, yes, we're going to be tolerant to a 1.5. We're going to do a sample size, let's say 80. Some big old boxes here. Let's change that to like 4 samples per row. Click generate. And you can see it didn't get all the way out to the edge, which it should. So we're going to have to be more tolerant. Let's go to 2.5. Oh. And let's go, just keep raising that tolerance level up. There we go. Wait a minute, did I not have it zoomed out? Let's go back down. Yeah, we're good. Okay, I was zoomed in. I was like, hey, it's not putting the boxes in. Because I wasn't zoomed out. Alright, so I just want to kind of scooch these around a little bit. I don't want them to be right on any major portions of nebulosity. Even though they're sampling a bigger area, so they shouldn't affect it too bad. We just don't want to look for trouble where there isn't any trouble. Alright, cool. So same thing. Our correction is division. Discard the background because we don't want to see it. Click the checkbox. Let's see what we got. It's like Christmas. See, we got this sample point right here on some of this brighter nebulosity that's really caused a big blotch. Let's maybe just kind of move that one off. That might be some hydrogen right in there instead of a flats issue. Let's rerun it. Excuse me, oxygen. It's a little better. Let's minimize it. And then again, we can save that instance. That's our second one. If you want to rename them, you could, so you don't get confused. Let's close the tool. Close down the old O3. Let's open up our HA. And we're going to double click on the image. I'll move it around here. Just going to scooch it just because HA is so structurally different than O3. Okay, I like it. Hit the greenie. And I didn't save that just because I'm probably not going to run it again. Beautiful. Let's minimize it. Let's just rename this one HA. Push it up here. Close down the tool. And close the old image. Okay, so let's go ahead and combine these stars. And I want to linear fit this first. I think I'm going to use the blue as my reference image. So I'm going to open up linear fit here. And drag the blue over as the reference image. Open up red. Just drag and drop the instance on it. Okay. It's pretty much going to fit the background to the blue. So let's open up the green, do it the same. Okay. So those are done. Close the tool. Now we can combine them. So the way we do that is LRGB combination. Take the green. There. Red goes in there. Blue goes in blue. Turn off the auto, and we're going to hit the global. Apply globally. We get a master image. Let's close down the tool. And we'll hit the real-time preview so we can see what it looks like. Cool. So let's do a background neutralization. Just ensure that the background levels are fairly even. And we'll do a quick color calibration. So we're going to zoom in here and try to find a spot. Good Lord, the stars. As I've said, in doing this hobby, if there ain't aliens out there, I don't know. Something went haywire. Alright, so let's click this little blank icon here. We're going to draw a box right there, and that's going to preview our background. Zoom back out. Let's go in here, process, color calibration, background neutralization. I love these words. Our reference image is going to be that preview that we selected here. So image 26 preview. Click OK. Drag and drop. And made a little bit of difference. Okay, and we're going to open up, we're going to do a color calibration. We're not going to get real crazy with any kind of photometric color calibration. We're just going to do a simple color calibration. And our white reference is going to be the target. We're going to leave structure detection turned on because we're really wanting to hone in on the stars. That's what it's looking for. And we want to choose that background reference, that preview 1. And then just drag and drop. Okay, cool. Let's kill the preview. Now, Blur Exterminator. That's the new hot ticket item here, and I'm going to use that. And a lot of people said, well, they didn't say, it's not like they never said it again, but a lot of people say it's really not a tool for wide field images. But guess what? It does a really good job in the first steps of star reduction because it shrinks the star size down. So we want to use it. We definitely want to use it. And Lord knows we have enough stars. We do not need to generate our own PSF because we got oodles of stars. So let's open it up. Looking through the image here, I don't have any back focus issues. I don't have any real coma issues. I'm pretty round even at the edges, so I don't really have a lot of corrections to be made. Fortunately. But what I am going to do is I'm going to come in here. I'm going to probably just get a sample box right around this biggin, right here. And so I can kind of run a preview of what Blur Exterminator is going to do. So we want to leave automatic PSF set to automatic. If we didn't have a lot of stars, we'd probably want to generate our own. But since we do, we don't. I'm just going to leave everything pretty much default. I'm not going to do correct first because I don't need to correct. I'm just going to come over here and drop it on. Oh, look at those nice sharp stars. So Control Shift and Z. Boing, 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 boing. What do you think? See? See what I mean? Even if you got a wide field image, use it. Use it. All right, I like it. So we're going to drag and drop the instance on and do the whole image, and this is going to take a little bit. So I'll be right back. Okay, very cool. That took forever. Anyway, okay, so let's minimize that. And let's go back into our preview. I do like to do some noise extermination. Like, I guess we can't ever say noise reduction now. We have to say noise extermination. Thanks, Russell. Okay, so I do like to do it just because I want to soften up the transition between the star and the background space. So let's open up Noise Exterminator. I'm not going to be that aggressive. About 60%. There's the details up just a little bit, sharp, just to kind of protect the stars. And we're off. Okay, very good. All right, so I used to. Oh man, see, that's our freaking display. That's our little preview. We didn't do crap. I swear, sometimes I am my own worst enemy. Who hides their keys from themselves? This guy. All right, so let's drag and drop it off and actually do the whole image this time. And now we're done. Okay, so bear with me. I've been having troubles with Fixin' Site here recently crashing. I don't know what's going on. So I'm just gonna save it, save project. And I'm gonna click OK because I've already saved it before. Yes, I'm gonna override it. And the more you've done, the longer it takes to save everything. All right, cool. I feel better. Okay. So, like I was saying, I used to actually stretch this image with the stars in it and get it to a level that I liked, and then I would pull the stars. But what happens is, for some strange reason, when you're doing this manually, I tend to get the stars too big when they have the actual space behind them, I guess. It's hard to explain. I just know what I've been doing recently now is actually, I'm still in the linear state, so I hit F12. You know, it goes back to black. So let's re-stretch it. And so what I'm doing now is I'm actually pulling the stars out in a linear state. And I find that just stretching the stars against a black background, they're smaller, and I just like the effects more. So that's what I'm doing now. That's my latest thing. So let's open up Star Exterminator. And I am going to check this unscreen star. If you hover over this, or you're going to get this little pop-up box. You'll get some information. And there is a formula in there that you're going to want to copy and create like a little pixel math formula to actually put the stars back in. I would point at it, but it goes away. See? I'm not fast enough. Anyway, so let's stay at the stars out. We are generating a star image and they are unscreened. So, boom. All right, awesome. Hello, little dolphin. RGB dolphin. Let's move you down here. And we're going to turn off the STF. Let's close the tool down. All right, so now I just want to manually stretch these stars. So I'm just going to open up histogram transformation. This is image 26 stars. I should probably rename it, but I don't. And click the little check mark here and do a real-time preview. And now we're just going to monitor our star brightness. You know, and as you can tell, I'm really just looking at the brighter stars. Look, we've got great color in our stars. I'm super happy with that. I'm going to look at that right there, and I'm going to say I'm done. You see that? See how quick that was? If I wanted to add a little color to the stars, I could come in here to curves transformation. Do its own real-time preview. And then take the C component and add a little vibrance. And take the saturation button over here and just boost it just a little bit. I don't get crazy. Cool. Let's look in here really quick. I feel like I might have... Oh, you see, we got some stars, and even our little tiny stars, these little nuisance stars. Would you see these stars back here? These ones way off in the distance. You know, we didn't really overstretch them too much. Our stars have pretty good shape to them. They've got good color. And I like it. I dig it. Okay. So let's just rename this one stars. We're going to need to for later purposes. Okay, let's minimize it. Let's push it down here. Okay, fun stuff. Colorized HOO. And if you didn't watch my other video and you're like, what in the heck is colorized HOO? What does colorized mean? It means what we're going to do is we're going to take our oxygen and our hydrogen. And we're going to take our oxygen, we're going to color it blue. We're going to take our hydrogen and color it red. And then we're going to combine them and get what I think is a narrowband combination than typically combining. And to prove that as a comparison, who likes comparisons? I do. Let's go ahead and combine these two. We'll leave the stars in them like I normally would. So let's come over here to, we can just open up one of these. It's a pixel math formula for something else. I can do expression editor. We can delete this formula for extracting HA. And I can write oops, can't do it that way. I have to use uncheck. So that way I'm working in all three channels. Let's go back. Let's delete that formula. So the red is going to be the HA. The blue is going to be the oxygen, O3. And the green is going to be a combination of the two with this formula. And it goes as such. Open parentheses, HA times 0.02. And those values you can change based on your data. Close the parentheses, close them, plus open parentheses, O3 times squiggly line, twiddle, I think that's what it's called, 0.01, close parentheses. So that is the green channel is now going to be a combination of these two. Click OK to that. Let's drop down here. We want to create a new image. And we want that image to be RGB. And you have to open up one of the images to run this. And in this case, we just have to hit apply. And we get an image. Let's minimize that because we're going to use that. We're going to use that formula again. Minimize our HA here. Okay, and let's do a screen transfer function. Let's get a preview. Oh, lordy. Yeah, let's uncheck the channels so they aren't linked. And then that's typically what we get. Extremely underwhelming. Bravo. And that's what we've dealt with. That's what I've dealt with. And I was like, let's do something different with this. Let's try something different. So let's just minimize this as our contrast and compare. So let's do a little pre-work in here. You know, the dolphin isn't an extremely sharp image. The structure in it isn't very sharp. So I think what I'm going to do is probably just run some noise reduction on it. And that's pretty much it. I might run some MLT sharpening after I get them combined. But the first thing I want to do is I want to pull the stars out because I do not need them. I already have them, right? So in my last video, I keep referencing that last video a lot, don't I? Pretty proud. My last video, I was going over here to Star Exterminator and I was like, hey y'all, is there any way to like throw all your images in there and click this one time so you don't have to remember to come back? You can just do your thing. And everybody was like, yeah, there is. Well, I'm going to show you. I figured it out. Everybody help me out. That's what this Astro community is all about, is helping a brother out. So what we want to do is we want to save these two images. So I'm going to click on the image. I'm going to hit File, Save As. Where's my little color? I did it at capitals. Colorized. This is O3, so I can just name it O3. I'm going to save it as an XISF, excuse me. Click save. Yes, 32-bit. Minimize it. Open up HA. File. Save as. HA. Save. Okay. So we have two saved files. And then we want to come up here to this process batch button, except for before we do that, we want to uncheck generate star image because we don't want our stars. We don't need the stars. Process batch. We want to say where we want our files to go to. That is this colorized HOO folder that I have here. So select folder. And we want to select input files and execute. So let's select them. Just highlight these two. Click open. And basically what this is going to tell you is it's going to put two files in that folder and it's going to name them starless. So you know they ain't got no stars in them. So click OK. And then you wait. Okay, we're done. Yay! All right, so close this down. Close it on the tool. Come over here to File, Open. Go to that folder, and there's our two starless images right there. So click, click Open. And real-time preview. Ooh, look at that. Oxygen, look at that dolphin. Ooh, my goodness gracious. All right. And hydrogen. Let's check out the hydrogen. Cool. All right, so we're still in a linear state. So I think what I want to do is I just want to do some preliminary noise reduction in a linear state. So let's open up Noise X here. And I'm not going to be too aggressive. Here's the details up just a little bit. Drag and drop. All right, groovy. Our oxygen looks good. So let's do our hydrogen. All right. So I'm glad you guys have been bearing with me through all these waiting processes. Okay, so what do you want to do first? You want to do hydrogen or oxygen? Hydrogen or oxygen? Let's do hydrogen. And we'll do oxygen last. All right. Push this up here. Okay, so we are in a grayscale format here. So what we want to do is come in here to process. And we want to come down to color space conversion. And we want to convert that to an RGB. All right, so we've changed this to an RGB. So now we want to stretch it because it is still in the linear state. So let's kill the auto stretch. Let's go in here and we're going to manually stretch this. So we're going to go to histogram transformation. We're going to choose our HA starless. Open up real-time preview. And you could use the easy processing suites for this, but I find that two things that really help this is a manual stretch because you're able to really control the background better. You know, some of these automatic stretching techniques, they just kind of, it is what you get. And I also find that you get a better looking image when you kind of understretch it and not really try to ask too much of the data that you got, you know? So that's probably the last little bit of effort I'm going to put in with the histogram transformation. Let's accept that. Got a good peek here. Let's close the tool now. We're going to close the real-time preview. And we're going to open up curves. So now you can start to see we've got some hydrogen in the background that we want to try to bring up just a little bit. I'm going to try to brighten up this principal part of this nebula here. So what I want to do is click here into space. Oops. Let me close that. Let me create another real-time preview that's stuck to the curves here. Let's click here into space. And oh, you know why we're not getting it? Because we're not RGB. These are the dumb things we deal with. So you can see where it's kind of guiding us here along that linear line. So I want to pin that portion. I want to just lift. You see that little bit right there is kind of brightening this It's like hydrogen wave that's coming in here to wash away the dolphin. Select that. Cool. So where are we at? So let's pull this down one more time. We're gonna pull it down. And if I just point right here at this little hydrogen fluffy layer here, you can see where it's pinning to the linear line. So now we just want to pick it up right there. Or maybe one more time. Just, oh yeah, right there. That's it. That's all I want to do. If you want to use easy processing suites to automatically stretch your background, more power to you. I'm just showing you the way I do it, right? Sounded kind of somber, didn't it? All right, so our image is stretched. Let's minimize it. Let's open up O3, do the same thing. We're going to hit F12 to kill the real-time preview. We could go ahead and come in here to process color space conversion and convert that to RGB. And let's open up histogram transformation. We're going to choose our, what is this? The O3 image, O3 starless. Do real-time preview. Hit the check mark so we can see our histogram peak. And let's stretch. This is such a cool target. I'm sorry if you don't like it. I say that a lot, but I don't mean it. All right. So we're just being real conservative with our stretch here. Let's give it one more little boost. I tend to find that histogram transformation kind of stretches things globally. It means all across the image, obviously. Whereas curves, you can be a little more selective. Cool. All right, so let's close that tool. We're going to close that real-time preview. And we're going to open up curves. Do another real-time preview. We're going to find out where we're at here in the background, especially like in here. Let's pin it. Get some oxygen right in here. So let's lift. And then lift. Oh my goodness gracious. Ain't he cute? Dang, look at that. Thing's really popping. Again, let's pin it because we like our background levels. Let's lift. And then lift. Right in there. That's about all we're going to do. Alright. So now we've got two pretty cool images here. They are both converted into the RGB space. And again, you do that over here in color space conversion, convert to RGB. Let's see if our HA is still, yep, they're both RGB. So now the secret is in the mask, and we want to really create this mask and create some divergence between our brighter areas and our darker areas. We want some of these parts of this mask to not have any color display in some of these darker areas. And I think that was kind of the problem last time, was when people were doing the Colorized 8 SHO version of this, they weren't really taking much time with the mask, and then therefore the whole image would become blue or the whole image would become red or yellow, and really doesn't get you the results you want. What you want to do is you want to attack these higher signal areas with the color. You want to leave the rest of it black background space. So the tool we use is process, noise reduction, ACD&R. This is an awesome tool for creating masks. And thanks, by the way, to Sean Nielsen for giving me a little plug, because I reminded him of this and he did a whole video on it. So definitely go check out his channel. He's got a lot of great stuff. I mean, a lot of great stuff. So what we want to do is check the preview and hit a real-time preview. And so what we're going to get is this looking mask here. And whatever is in black is going to receive color. Whatever is in white will not. And the problem I think a lot of people were doing was maybe pushing down this mid-tone. You see how it just kind of starts to darken up the whole image and not really isolate very well? So we can push that down just a little bit. We want to be careful with that one. Where we really want to attack it here is in the highlights. And then we want to lift these shadows. You can start to see that I am getting some separation between colored areas and background space. So you can really see all of this is going to be blue. All that's going to be blue. We're going to have some nice blue tones in the back, but we've got some of these wider areas where we're not going to see much color, and that's really what we're looking for. We could probably just bring this down just a little bit. So once we're satisfied, we're going to close the real-time preview. We're going to make a copy. And then we're going to take this instance and drag it onto that copy. And it's created our mask. Okay. So let's minimize that mask. That's our O3 mask. Let's minimize our O3 image. And let's open up our HA. Reset the tool. Do a real-time preview, and then click this, basically a inverted preview. Same thing. Pull the midtones down a little bit. But really pull those highlights down and bring the shadows up. Just keep working those two sliders. Now remember, our O3 is definitely more dominant, so we really want to get some good HA signal in here. And we are accomplishing that with the mask. Whoa, see too much. So all of this is going to be red. It's going to look pretty cool. Let's close the real-time preview again. Let's make a copy, and let's drag that off to then create our mask. Now with this one, when you have some weaker signal, let's just minimize this. You got weaker signal, which is weird to say for HA, but we did. We could, and you've got some pixelation in here. If you want to blend that in, make that a little smoother, we could open up our convolution tool and do a real-time preview. And maybe just go up here to the upper standard deviation and just bump it. See that? Didn't take much. Cool. Accept that. Close the tool. And we got a little smoother mask. Okay. So let's color. Let's make this hydrogen the red that we want to see. So let's take the mask, put it on the ribbon there, minimize it. Right click on the image and say mask, invert, because right now you can see the higher signal areas are being protected. We don't want that. We want them to receive color. So the background is mostly protected. Right click on the image again, mask, and say show mask. So the mask is still there. And now we want to color. So open up our curves transformation, do a real-time preview, select red. Red's pretty easy to get. Let's boost that. You can see it's turning red. Red. Let's pull the blue down. And we're going to pull the green down just a little bit. And we're going to take this C component and we're going to boost it up just a little bit, add a little bit of vibrance. Red. And let's hit that red one more time. Watch this. This is pretty cool. So when you hit the green, we're going to lift the green up on the high side. You're going to see it's kind of turn. It's going to turn a little yellow, but then when we bring that green down on the downside, you see red, almost purpley red. You get some of that purple out. Get some of that Trevor Jones purple out of there. No offense, Trevor. Your image is amazing. Let's pull the blue down. Now, what happens when you add color like this? I've noticed that you can actually really kind of start clipping some of your highlights in here. Pretty easy, because you're really just attacking these areas really hard with color. And so one way to kind of pull that out and kind of bring that back in so it's just color is click that lightness tab and let's just bring it down. See that? See if I boost it, you see it just kind of fades everything out. If I bring it down, I'm going to gain some color back. And I'm not going to be white clipping some of these higher signal areas. So I can hit my saturation tab there and just kind of boost some saturation on that. Oh, pretty. Oh, man. Click it again, but no. So you can see, we've basically found our hydrogen, and we've colored our hydrogen red. And that's the color, at least to me, that I like to see hydrogen, right? Because it's personal. This is personal, man. So let's close the real-time preview. Right-click on it and say Mask. Remove Mask. Let's minimize the image. Okay. Here's the cool part. Ooh, we're going to make this blue, right? So what's going to be really cool is we're going to have this really dominant blue dolphin head, which you like to see, with a little bit of blue in the background and some of this blue mixed in of this big wave of gas. Kind of like when I go to a Mexican restaurant. All right, so let's click O3. Let's apply the mask. Minimize it. Right click, mask, invert. Right click again, mask, show mask. I think there's buttons up here you can do that, but I've never learned how to use them. So sue me. Do a real-time preview. So now we want blue. Blue is super easy to get, but we don't want to over blue it. Just lift the blue. Okay. Pull down the green. And then pull down the red. I remember some people in my last video were like, you went too fast when you did this. I was like, bro, just make it the color that you want. God. So B component. If I lift the B component up, I get yellow. If I pull it down, I get blue. All right. So let's accept it. Oh, look at that blue. We're not going to do it twice. Let's lift the blue up again. Less is more. You can always go back and add saturation later after you mix them together. Let's pull the red down just a little bit. Ooh, I'm excited. Let's take this lightness. We're going to pull it down just a little bit. Man. Take the B component. Pull it down just a little bit. Oh, mercy. And as you can tell, we've got nice blue areas in here. Got some dark background space in here. That's what we want. Because that's what our signal gave us. Close the tool. Close the real-time preview. Right-click on the image. And remove the mask. Minimize. Alright, so remember that formula we had a minute ago. Pixel math. Okay. We're just to reset it. We'll just do it over again. Alright, so we're going to uncheck use single RGB expression. That way it turns on the other three channels. Go into our expression editor. So red is going to be our hydrogen starless. Blue is going to be our O3 starless. And then green is going to be that same formula combination. So open parentheses, HA starless times 0.02. Now these values here, a higher value is going to get you a more orangey looking image. And a lower value is going to keep this more red. So I start low and then work my way up, or I might just leave it alone. So let's close the parentheses plus, because we're adding them together, open parentheses, O3 starless times squiggly mark 0.01, and then close the parentheses. Click OK. We're going to create a new image. We want that color space to be RGB. We want the output to be RGB. So let's just open up our blue. You got to have an image open. Then let's hit apply. Okay. Okay. So let's close that down. Let's just push this over here. And then let's open up that image we did before. Now granted, it's got stars in it. Okay. It's got stars in it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're like, is he ever gonna stop saying mm-hmm? No. Mm-hmm. 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 Hitting the microphone. Mm-hmm. Alright, I'll stop now. Minimize. So, groovy? Yeah, you like it? Okay, so let's do a little bit of sharpening on this guy, right? I don't think we need to do much. Let's sharpen a little bit, maybe do another pass on noise reduction. But do I have to do anything to color? No. No, people. Alright, I know. Shut up. Range selection. Let's create a range mask here. Reset the tool. Do a real-time preview. We just want to capture the dolphin head right in there. Put a little fuzziness on it to taper that selection, and then we're going to blur that selection. And then we're going to hit apply because we like it. Close the tool. Close real-time preview. Drag and drop the mask. And we're not going to invert the mask because it is exposing. Sorry, that was a nose thing. It is exposing the areas we want to sharpen. So mask, show mask. So let's create a little preview window. And the reason I made it so big is I want to use it twice. I want to do it for sharpening in here, and then I want to see out here for noise reduction. Let's click into the preview. Woohoo! And as you know, my favorite way to sharpen after Blur Exterminator is MLT, a multi-scale linear transform. So noise reduction is unchecked. Detail layer is left checked. This is pretty aggressive that I have saved. So I'm going to take this 0.75 and a layer 3. And I'm going to move that down to 0.15. Drag and drop. Control Shift and Z. Oh, 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 yeah, I like it. You like it? You better. Drag and drop. Sorry, I'll get over it. Let's click back in here to the preview, and let's open up Noise Exterminator. My girlfriend's banging around in the background. Needs a noise exterminator. So let's minimize that a little bit, and let's push up our details. Kind of protect some of that sharpening that we did. Let's drag and drop. Oh, you know what we did? What did we do? You're like, what'd you do? I don't know what I did. What did we do? Nobody raised their hand and said, Steve, you got to take the mask off. Mask. Remove it. Click back in. Drag and drop. I need a producer. Let's see. Control Shift C. Yeah. Zoom in. Boop, boop, boop. Yep. I like it. Drag and drop. Smooth. All right. Close that. Let's get rid of the preview. Okay. Now, remember we have these stars here. These beautiful little stars that we worked on, right? So we have to rename this image Starless. Okay. It works the formula. So I already have an instance saved where I wrote a pixel math equation here, and this is the equation here. It's, God help me people, somebody tell me, there's got to be another name for this thing, and something that it does other than squiggly line. So this is basically it. What it's doing is it's going to reapply the stars, and it is going to replace the image. So because we've named this one Starless and this Stars, it knows what to grab. So drag and drop. Anyway. Okay. My work here is done. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about this? You know? You guys like this? Yeah? You like it? Yeah, I kind of like it. Let's do a little trick though. I'm gonna show you a little trick. I've shown it to you before, but I'm gonna show it to you again. Why? Because I want to, and it's my damn channel and I can do what I want. Alright, so we're gonna come in here to range selection. What we're gonna do is we're gonna try to blur out some of these little tiny, teeny these little guys, remember? Because they, you know, it's like they give your image acne or something. I don't know. But we're gonna kind of blend these out a little bit and make this whole nebulosity area pop a little bit. So let's reset the tool. Let's click real-time preview. And I'll be really careful with this, right? Because we want to actually protect some stars, some of the bigger stars. We're going to keep pushing this upper limit up like that. And then when we smooth it, you're going to see all the stars start to disappear. All right. About there. Let's click that. Okay. So this is our mask. And what we want to do is go into histogram. Yeah, histogram transformation. This is a range mask 1. All right, let's open up a real-time preview. So we're going to brighten it. It's going to make the areas we want to protect brighter, and then we're going to clip it. What you can see happening here is these brighter stars are going to be protected by all those little pesky little minuscule stars. Minuscule are not going to be protected. We're going to select that. Okay. So let's apply the mask. Minimize it. And let's right click on it and say mask, show mask. So what it's doing is it's protecting the background area and it's leaving the areas we want to protect vulnerable. So let's mask and invert the mask. Now you can see, if we zoom in here, a lot of these stars, you see, they didn't really get protected. Oh, poor stars. Oh. Yeah, so we are going to say mask, show mask. And let's do like a big box right here. Doink. Let's go into this. We're going to open up convolution. And what we're going to do is we're just going to blur those stars a little bit. So if we hit a real-time preview, we got a preview of a preview. So if defaults like this, if I back it off, you see they get really sharp, right? So if I go forward just a little bit, my brighter stars, my nebula's all being protected. I mean, I could really yank it like that. No, that's not good. This is a very subtle thing, people. So don't do this and then leave me a nasty message. You did it too much. Back it off. We just want to blur them. And it gives us an illusion of depth. See? So if we hit the little real-time preview, on, off, on, it's subtle. Want to get aggressive? Let's go to 1.3. It's dangerous. It's Top Gun stuff right there. All right, so let's close that real-time preview. Let's go in here to the image and then drag and drop. Okay, and in YouTube land, you're like, Steve, that was a lot of nothing. So delete that, mask, remove it. Okay, but if we zoom in, see? You can actually look at our little dolphin here, and you can see where he's just kind of like, he stars way off in the distance. Of course they wouldn't be in focus, right? Your eyes don't work that way. All right, that's pretty subtle. So yeah, I think my work here is done. I'm gonna fly off. It's Krypton now, and and leave you with it. So I definitely hope that you got a little more out of the mask process and how to actually colorize these images. I've had some people tell me, hey, this doesn't work mathematically in PixInsight or Pixel Math doesn't know. You're only grabbing a third of every channel. But I'm telling you, when I make it yellow, when I make it blue, when I make it red, I get a Hubble palette. When I make it red and blue, I get this. Voila. And any one-shot color folks out there, I'm very sorry to say, I did get some data. I did try it on SHO. I got whites and pinks. And I think the reason for that is because structurally there isn't a lot of difference. So you're really kind of like, overlapping sample points, or you're overlapping your histogram peaks. And if you know anything about Photoshop, when you get all those to align, what do you get? A neutral color. So I really think that you have to have mono in order to achieve it with this process. There's other taking one-shot color data images and getting a Hubble palette out of it. I know Sean Nielsen at Visible Dark has a great video doing that, so definitely check him out. But for right now, one-shot color people, you can get something like this. I did do this and it did work pretty good. But sorry about the SHO Hubble palette. But this HOO with RGB stars, they look phenomenal. They, I don't think you could really tell that I pulled them out somewhere else and put them in this narrowband data. I dig it. I like it. If you like it, leave me a comment. I think last time I said leave me a woot woot, and man, my comments were full of woot woots. Owls were going nuts around here. So how about this time, if you like this and you're like, and it just clicks and it smacks you in the face and your hat's all like this and your glasses are sideways and you're like, straighten everything up, look presentable, and leave me a hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right, until next time, as always, clear skies and clear minds.